Welcome everybody to Cindy's Certified Recipes. You know, there's a lot of people out there who have recipes that are handed down to them over the generations that they wouldn't share with anybody, secret this, secret that. But I personally enjoy sharing my recipes with you, and it gives me a lot of pride when I get a comment that someone out of all those recipes out there is picking something that I put out there that they want to make and share with their family. So on that note, today I'm going to be making my grandmother's German apple cake. And before we get to that though, I would sure appreciate you hitting that subscribe button and also that notification bell so you get first dibs on all my upcoming recipes / videos. Now, onto that German apple cake. I'm all set up here to get this apple cake going for you guys, and first thing you got to do is get your pan ready. And this is a 9-inch springform pan, and what I like to do, even though it's non-stick, is just rub a little butter all around there. And so just going to use my paper towel and get that butter going on in that pan. Some people like to use parchment paper, and to me it just depends what I'm making as to whether I use parchment paper or not. Today it's butter. All right, it's buttered and I'm buttered. Yep, a little rag here. Okay, show that to you. It's all nice and buttered. And so now that's ready to just set aside and get it out of the way. And what you're gonna need for this recipe is 1.5 pounds of apples. And I used Golden Delicious, as you know from maybe some of my past videos. It's my favorite apple to bake with. And I've already sliced them up, and this is the thickness that I like to slice them. I don't like them really thick, and I don't like them in chunks. I think they stay much better in the cake when they're sliced this way, like you would maybe for a pie, and fairly thin. And then I've coated these with some lemon, like juice from half a lemon, and stirred it, and so we're going to set those aside. And then you're going to have a small bowl, and in your small bowl you're going to put your flour, your dry ingredients, and your drawing a blank. Your baking powder, sorry about that. And your salt. Get some of these out of the way here. And you just want to whisk that. And you know, every time I've used baking powder and I forget to whisk it, it actually doesn't rise that great. Even though it all gets mixed in, there's something about mixing it at this point that assures you a nice even rise. So that's all you do with that. Set that aside. And now you need a decent sized bowl, because what we're going to do here is start creaming our butter and sugar. A little bit of milk. Your vanilla, and actually my grandmother's recipe calls for vanilla sugar, but you can also use a teaspoon of vanilla extract, which is what I normally use. And cinnamon. And I got my little hand mixer over here, and we're going to beat that until it's pale and creamy. I'm going to stop there a bit and just scrape those sides down. And continue creaming that. Alrighty, that's looking nice and creamy and smooth and beautiful. So we're just going to scrape that down a little bit. And we're going to start adding our eggs. And you got to add these one at a time and fully incorporate them before you add the next one. So I can get my blender going here, my beater, and just put in one egg at a time. Next egg. And the last egg. You're going to beat those eggs until it actually kind of looks like it gains in volume from being fluffy. And so we're not going to use our mixer anymore. So now we're going to bring over our flour, our dry ingredients that we mixed together. And this is actually better, I find, if you mix it by hand. So I'm just going to scrape this down one more time here. And I'm going to add our dry ingredients. And then we're going to fold that in until it's well incorporated. You don't want to overmix it. So that's looking, that looks nice. Now we're going to bring our apples back over. And what we're going to do here, let's move this aside for a second. And what you want to do here is you want to pick out some of the prettier slices, you know, like something like that. And you're going to save about 10 pretty slices because we're going to place these on top of the cake once we've poured that in the pan. So pick out the nice ones because they're going to show the most. We'll do 15. There we go. Up to you what you want. Let's bring this back over. And we're going to pour our apples in that beautiful batter. And then you just want to gently fold those in. It's going to be very thick, almost like peanut butter. So this takes also just a little bit of time because you don't want to break up your apples. You probably think, dang, that's a lot of apples to that batter. But once you see the final cake, you'll know that you need that many apples for that beautiful texture. All right, I'm liking that. Delicious. Don't eat raw cake batter. Right? Okay, I'm going to bring over our pan that we did earlier. And we are going to have to press this into the pan. And so best for video here if I just not hold the bowl and just scoop it. And so what I got to do here is kind of press that down into the corners, and you're just going to press it all down to fill in the voids. It's almost done. Great things come from patience, right? Just trying to make it even. That looks great. Wipe off that side just a little bit. There we go. And remember those apples we set aside? So this is what it looks like now. Okay? And all those apples we set aside. So you can do whatever pattern you like. I usually just press them in on the sides here. And just give them a little press down into that dough. The dough will rise up around them. But I like to just kind of sink them down a little bit. There we go. Got a few left over, but those will make a tasty snack. And there's our finished, before it goes in the oven, finished apple cake. And that's going to go in a 350-degree oven for approximately 50 minutes. You'll be testing it with a toothpick, and we'll be right back with that beautiful cake. Our cake is out of the oven. Got my pot holder stuck under there. And look, I mean, ooh, it's slippery. It's so pretty, but it's like piping hot. So what I like to do at this point is to brush on some apricot jam. And you do that when it's hot, and it gives it this nice little shiny look to it. And when it dries, it'll stay that way. And you don't have to do it, but this is how I'm used to having it. And I think it just really adds to the cake. So we got just a little bit of apricot jam in here that I nuked in the microwave about 30 seconds. And you don't go crazy, just you want it brush just a little bit on there, make it look pretty. There we go. Totally gorgeous. So we're going to let this cool. There, you can see that. Very pretty. That's going to cool for about 20 or 30 minutes, and then we'll unmold the cake from the pan and put it on a platter and take a bite. So we'll be right back. We're back. Our cake has cooled down about 20 minutes, and it's just enough time for the cake to contract, just enough to get it out of the pan. And I'm just going to release it from the sleeve like that. And it's going to stay on that bottom part for another 30 minutes till it's cool, and when the cake is set, and then I'll take it off that bottom part, and then I can cut it, and you guys can see it. We'll be right back. Hey everybody, we're back again, and the cake is cooled down most of the way, and now you're going to watch me get it off the bottom of my springform pan here. And what I like to do is just get a nice knife and just kind of go along the bottom where it meets the bottom of that pan. And I'm just going to spin it here. Just to release that very edge. All right, and then I got my giant spatula. And so I just try to slip it under there, release it. Put it on a pretty platter. Here we go. Take all this out of the way. How about that? Not too bad, right? Got one little piece there. I'll have to eat it. Now, one thing that my mom always served this with was she would make a very nice creme anglaise, put it on the plate. And if you don't want to do that, that's fine. But if you want to do cheater creme anglaise, it's just melted vanilla ice cream. And that's all you need to do. Melt some nice vanilla ice cream that has the vanilla bean in it. And mine is still a little not melted all the way, but that's okay. We'll use it anyway. And so I'm going to move that over here for a second and just show you this. And so I just have my plate. And what I like to do is just get a little bit of the melted vanilla ice cream. And you just put a little bit on the bottom of the plate like so. And now we're going to cut the cake. And you know what? I didn't get my little pie lifter, but I will attempt this with a fork. So I really needed my pie lifter to do this correctly. He kind of fell apart. But there he is on the plate with the creme anglaise, and I'm going to be biting on it anyway, so it doesn't matter. So we're going to take a bite and get some of that creme anglaise all over that cake. Totally delicious. All those flavors, the vanilla, ice cream, the apples, just that slight bit of cinnamon. Totally excellent. Takes me back to when I was a kid. My mom made this all the time. So you guys, I hope you get a chance to try this one. I know my grandmother would be totally proud if you tried it and liked it. And also, if you enjoyed this video, I would sure appreciate a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button. And we hope to see you next time for another great recipe on Cindy's Certified Recipes. I hope you enjoy my Oma's Apfelkuchen. And as always, if it's time tested, top-notch ingredients, and the talk of the table, it's Cindy Certified.